Hello folks, this is Sullla once again. You're listening to another video for League of Legends, this one featuring Karthus. Yes, I looked back and I didn't have any Karthus footage for Season 3. So this is one of the first times I've actually had a chance to play him since all of the big item work changes went through in Season 3. So this is going to be me playing as Karthus. Alongside me is Wimmy playing as Wukong, Atomos Court playing as Blitzcrank, Ball, I think that's what that's supposed to be, playing as Cogmal, and Bertrand de Horn playing as Warwick. And by the way, Bertrand's name is actually Atlas. He just uses Bertrand for his League of Legends username. So Atlas is going to be playing as Warwick here. Then on the other team, we have X Gobbles playing as Orianna. We have Zach's mom, nice name, playing as Darius. Varus Nox playing as Vayne, Zombie Brian playing as Lulu, and Ayelareth playing as Jarvan. So those are the laning matchups that we have for this game, and I'll go ahead and get it set up on the bottom tab here. So Karthus has not seen nearly as much play in Season 3 as he did in Season 2 competitively. He was a real staple of mid lane for a very long time in Season 2. One of the reasons why we haven't seen him as much in Season 3 is the item, well, for one thing, he did get nerfed. He had a nerf go through to his wall, such that he lost the flat magic resist shred on his wall of pain. It was reduced to a percentage shred instead, and I believe he used to have armor shred on this as well, and now that's removed. So anyway, did get a nerf to his wall of pain, but even more importantly, the reason why we haven't really seen too much Karthus in Season 3 is the itemization changes led to a lot of bruisers being played in mid lane and AD assassins. Initially, champions like Talon and Pantheon were being played, and then it kind of shifted to Kha'Zix, and we've seen things like Jace mid and Jarvan mid, but a lot of champions that deal a lot of physical damage in the mid lane has been very popular for much of Season 3. And guess what? Karthus starts with base 15 armor. Does not have much in the way of armor on his side. In fact, he is extremely vulnerable to AD assassins, and that's what everyone was playing. So he has not really had the same kind of role in Season 3 just because the changes to the itemization led to a lot of, as I said, AD assassins and other bruiser champs going mid, and Karthus does really badly against most of those champions. So he kind of has dropped out of the competitive scene. That said, he's still very much a viable champion. We just haven't seen him play mid competitively much since all the Season 3 changes went through. I have still seen teams run him on occasion, but he just is not as popular as he once was. That said, Karthus is still able to sit back and farm up and able to carry a game really hard if he gets farmed up. And that's what I would be attempting to do in this particular game. So let's go ahead and look around the lane, shall we? In top lane, we have Wimmy playing as Wukong against Zach's mom playing as Darius. I'm here in mid lane. Me, Sullla, playing as Karthus in mid lane against Gobbles, playing as Orianna. In bottom lane, Ball and Atomos Court are playing Cogmal and Blitzcrank against Varus Nox and Zombie Brian playing the Vayne Lulu combination. And then we have Atlas jungling as Warwick and Ayelareth jungling as Jarvan. And in fact, there's already a fight in top lane. Wimmy is going to have to use his flash. And is this going to finish him off? Yes. He will go down to the Ignite. And that's going to be first blood. And that's going to be an immediate lead in top lane for Zach's mom. He actually is going to get a pretty big lead. And guess what? You don't really want to give up you don't want to give up first blood anywhere, but you especially don't want to give it up in top lane to Darius, because he will start snowballing the lane as soon as that happens. Okay, as far as this middle lane goes, this is a lane that I've played quite a few times before. Karthus against Orianna has been a common laning matchup in the past in Season 2, and I've played it now here in Season 3. Both Gobbles and myself elected to start with the same starting items. We both started with a Crystal Flask, a Health Pot, and a Ward. It's not a bad start. It's pretty solid on mid laners. I'm not sure that this is necessarily the best start. I'm still trying to play around with different starts for Karthus. One thing that the Season 3 item change did is it made Tear the Goddess a much cheaper item. Made it much easier to get a tier and then start stacking it up. So on Karthus, that can be a really good choice. Just go for a tier and have that as your first item. I did not do that in this game because I got the flask. I would say either buy one or the other. one or the other. But you can start with 2 fairy charms, for example, and build that into an early tier if you want to. And that's a very useful start for Karthus. It just means that you are going to be going for more of a late game build because you're expecting to charge up tier and go for Archangel Staff, that kind of thing. Now, I made a big mistake while I was playing right here, and this was due to the fact that I hadn't played Karthus in, honestly, weeks when I did this game. And that is when I went to put a point in my skill at level 4. I wanted to put a skill in Karthus W in Wall of Pain, but I accidentally put it in Defile instead. So I have 2 points in E, and that's not what I wanted. I really wanted a point in the Wall of Pain. I really wanted this skill because this is Karthus' only defensive skill, and you're going to see right here, ALRS Jarvan's going to come in. He's playing very aggressively. He's going to tank 2 tower shots here, and right now it'd be very easy to get a kill with the wall line. So I'm going to exhaust him. He's going to flash out, but Atlas's Warwick does have red buff, so he's going to slow on every auto attack. And again, if been able to slow Jarvan back there, it would have been really easy to pick up 1 kill. Or watch right here. Note that Orianna's low. Right now, a Wall of Pain to slow her movement, make it so she would have to probably burn her flash. Right there, I was just kicking myself that I had put a point in the wrong skill, and then there's really no excuse for that. I just literally clicked on the wrong thing. I clicked on his Defile. I should talk briefly about Karthus skills. I've done a lot of Karthus videos, so most people are probably familiar with Karthus, people who watch this channel, but I will run through them just briefly. Karthus passive, Death Defiled, he can cast spells for 7 seconds after he's dead, and you can cast spells for free even if you run out of mana, which can be very useful some of the time. His Q is sort of his bread and butter skill. On a 1-second cooldown, point and click the cursor. After a half a second, a little explosion appears and it deals magic damage. Deals double damage if it hits a single unit. So this is basically Karthus' farming skill. You spam this constantly. You will be using Lay Waste over and over and over again. It is a skill shot. It is point and click. It is not guaranteed harass. But the damage is very high if you are able to hit 1 target and get the double damage. It is a lot of damage. So Karthus' gameplay is based around slowing people, slowing with his Wall of Pain, slowing with Exhaust. This is why most Karthus players take Exhaust. Slow them down, and then that allows you to hit Lay Waste relatively easily and go from there. His W is his Wall. This is a slow and also a magic resist debuff. Unfortunately, it is no longer a flat magic resist debuff. It is percentage, 15%. Right there in top lane, Wimmy is going to get dived under the tower, and oh no, this is not good. He is down 0-2 in lane to Darius, and that's really not what you want to see. Not even a chance to affect that fight with Karthus ult. Already too late. His E, this is a passive and a active effect. Toggle on, the passive effect is when Karthus kills a unit, he gets mana back, and you need this. You actually do need to get this mana back because Karthus is very susceptible to running out of mana. One of his real issues is he runs out of mana very fast, so he needs that Defile working to give him mana back on every unit kill. That's the passive feature. The active, when you turn it on, deals magic damage to all nearby enemies in a short range around him each second. So this is the glowing green aura around Karthus. It drains his mana really fast when you turn on the active. So watch, I'm going to turn on here. There it is. There's the little blue aura around him. Deals very good damage late in the game, but it will drain his mana like crazy. You know, I didn't even know this, that Gobbles was coming over to try and attempt to steal. Good thing we went to that blue very quickly after it spawned. I had no idea. It was over there while we were playing this game. So it looks like he had it warded and knew that we were going to be over there. Okay, so anyway, then Karthus' most famous skill is Ultimate Requiem. After channeling for 3 seconds, deals magic damage to all enemy champions everywhere on the map. This is his, his ion cannon, people like to call it. You hit R and people die everywhere on the map. So his trademark bread and butter skill, and the one that he's by far the most famous for. Just a really fun skill to use. Up to this point in time, I've had no opportunity to use it, but I'm keeping an eye on the other lanes, trying to watch down here, trying to watch in top lane. The top lane has unfortunately been rather rough on Wimmy. Zach's mom's been dominating that lane, but trying to keep an eye on other lanes to see if I'd be able to use that. Keep an eye on this. There's a nice tumble coming out from Varus. He's going to get knocked up in the air, though. I was going to say, where's the silence? But Atomo score is only level 5. Not going to be able to chase that down. Anyway, because of the fact that Karthus' ult is a global, what that means is he doesn't really need to do much in the way of ganking. You can stay middle lane, and you can just farm in middle lane. The staple Karthus gameplay is you stay middle lane and you keep killing all the minions and you keep killing the wraiths and the wolves as they respawn. By the way, that was very sloppy farming right there. I missed almost all those minions. Very, very rusty from not playing this champ. Anyway, that looks like a pull down in bottom lane is my best guess. There were 3 down there. jungler came in, but it looks like it was warded. So my team picks up the kill. Anyway, so the classic Karthus gameplay is you stay mid, you farm the wraiths, you farm the wolves, and you just use your ult to affect fights elsewhere on the map. And, you know, you just try to get super strong and you try to carry it into late game. And that's pretty much how you try to play Karthus. I mean, it's kind of simple, but it works. And that's been proven to be sort of the most effective way to play him. And that's what I'm going to be doing here. So, you know, you take the wolf camp anytime your jungler doesn't need it. You take the wraith camp anytime your jungler doesn't need it. And so on. And you just farm, and try to get as strong as possible. So anyway, I'm going back to base right now. I am building towards my Rod of Ages. I've nearly got Rod. Rod is a really good item on Karthus. He's going to have to get into the middle of a team fight to use his Defile aura. So he needs some extra health. And Rod of Ages gives him that health, the health, the ability power, and extra mana too. So generally people rush Rod of Ages first. Alternately, if you want an even more late game build, you go tier first and then you build Rod of Ages. And that's sort of an even more late game build. And it's one I want to experiment with. Like I said, didn't go for that here. Now this matchup in mid against Orianna. Orianna wins this matchup. Orianna beats Karthus in lane, but that's not really unique. Pretty much everyone beats Karthus mid in lane. Karthus is really bad at dueling, at least early in the game. He is not very good at fighting people in lane because all of his damage other than his ult is skill shot based. You know, there's no point in click harass, it's all skill shot based. Anyway, we'll get back to that in a minute. Okay, right there, the flash, I forced the flash with the wall, and then Atlas's Warwick pressure. We get the flash on Gobbles, but then Atlas flashes after, a little bit needlessly. Probably should have just taken the flash and then come back later, but we did get Orianna's flash down, and that actually is significant. So, a little sad that we used Warwick flash as well, but we're happy to get Orianna's flash down, as there's some action down here. And once again, I'm farming that wolf camp. Anyway, as I was saying, so Karthus doesn't really beat people 1v1 in lane. What he does is he offers global presence to the team, and he's insanely good at team fighting later on, but he's not really good in laning. So in laning, you're more looking to farm. Anyway, down here, their team is looking to gank this bottom lane with 4. We knew that they were coming with 4. We had full vision of this. We knew that Gobbles was down here because he wasn't mid. So I just said, hey, you know what? If they try to dive you, I'm going to ult into this fight. So here we go. Aelorith comes in. He's tanking the tower. Out comes the Jarvan ultimate, but guess what? There is the Karthus pressure. And that's going to pick up the kill and allow us to go 1-for-1. So that was a little bit of an over-aggressive dive. I mean, they were able to get a kill on Cog, but if you look at what they used Orianna ult, they used Lulu ult, they used Jarvan ult. They used 3 ultimates to go 1-for-1. Not a good exchange, particularly because as Sullla, not as Sullla. Oh boy, late night here. Particularly as Karthus, I can stay mid. I don't have to come down there. I can continue to farm and push this lane. And I've got a global ultimate, so I can affect that fight regardless. And I was actually able to pick up a kill. So that's going to allow me to push this lane to base. Oh, and by the way, I did pick up that cannon minion. Little advanced trick if you played Karthus a lot. You're not going to get a minion, just flip on Defile for 1 second to get that. So anyway, I was able to get some nice farm there. And Orianna went back to base, and she actually missed quite a lot. She actually missed a cannon minion. And she missed close to, I'd say, almost a dozen creeps here from going down bottom lane. So she missed quite a bit by doing that. And that really allowed me, I've been a little bit behind in this lane. That allowed me to catch up. So let's go ahead and check out the global gold. I am now very slightly ahead of Gobbles. I'm ahead by about 150 gold. So really quite even. But that whole play there, the kill, really helped keep me up. The problem for my team is this top lane where Darius is 2-0, 3,900 gold against 0-2 Wukong, 2,400 gold. That is going to be a problem. Elsewhere, our team's in pretty good shape. But that top lane is going to be an issue. And Darius is starting to snowball pretty hard up to this point in time. So what does he actually have? Yeah, went for the early Brutalizer. I like that purchase too, in order to get that extra armor pen. Also, wow, 2 levels ahead too. Poor Wimmy's missed out on a lot of experience. Anyway, I'm going to grab the blue buff. I'm going to head back to lane. I would love to be at 10 minion kills per minute. I'm not quite there, but I'm doing decently. 106 at this point is pretty solid. And I'm going to go ahead and got that blue buff. It'll allow me to farm much harder. I saw that Jarvan was hanging around. Aelorith has been around mid a lot. Meanwhile, in top lane, Warwick's going to try to gank Darius. Oh, is the bleed effect going to take out Wimmy? No! Oh, yes, there it is. Went down 14 HP. Not able to survive that, so that's unfortunate. Just an example of Darius being too far ahead in that top lane. Even the Warwick gank, not quite enough. Then as Karthus, what do? Well, you keep going and farming the race. Now this is warded, so I've got to get out of here, but Gonna make it out, and ALRS tries to come in, but no, not quite able to. Not quite able to get there. They have this pretty well warded, though. We have a ward down here, too. So anyway, the fight continues. Their team recognizes that Atlas, our jungler, is up in top lane, and they are very smartly going to go for this dragon. This is a good decision. They have 4 here. We can't get more than 3 here. See, we only have 3 champions. And they also have their jungler here, whereas we don't. So we're going to go in and try to interrupt. Now, they're going to go ahead and take dragon. I see this. I need to come into this fight. We're going to lose Cog. We are going to get Jarvan, though, and then I'm going to go after Zombie Brian. I'm going to get the double kill. But Vayne is going to... Oh, no, Orianna's going to pick me off at the tail end of that fight. So we fought for that dragon. You know, we probably shouldn't have fought for that. They had a 4v3 advantage. We didn't have much of a chance of Smite stealing that. But we went ahead and made a best effort at it. Anyway, so I was able to get 2 kills, which is not such a bad result for us. We did lose top tower while that was going on because Wimmy came down to mid, and he was going to lose that tower anyway, but we did lose top. So that was not the best fight for our team. It went okay, though. Getting kills on Karthus is almost never a bad thing, just because he carries really hard as the game goes on. Now right here, Atlas is going to try to hold this tower. He's going to take some harass from Gobbles. Actually, some pretty good harass coming out there, using the Orianna ball. And this tower is very low, so right there, Varus is going to condemn Atlas into the wall, and he's going to pick that off. And Vayne is another champion similar to Karthus, a late game carry. Late game hyper carry even, and you don't really want to give free kills to Vayne, so that was a bit of a misplay there, unfortunately. Nicely picked off. By the way, note the rush on Vayne towards Blade of the Ruined King, a very good item on her. Anyway, back here in mid, I'm going to go ahead and I'm still farming. I'm going to get knocked up in the air by Jarvan, and I need to skedaddle out of here. I'm trying to put down my lay waste, and I'm going to chase off Aeloreth using that Defile aura for a lot of damage and using the Wall of Pain. So we're going to chase him out of there. Note that Zach's mom has started to come down to mid. This is why I have this worded right here. Have this worded to give us our team vision here. I knew that once this tower went down on top, that Darius would start roaming. I mean, he has to. He has no choice. Once he shoves the lane up to this tower, he really has no choice. He has to start roaming. So he is obviously going to start coming down mid, and that means I need to have vision of him in the area. I need to know when he's down here so that I can, well, get the heck out of there, basically, so I can avoid getting caught by him. One other thing I'll mention, and this is a change I've made in terms of build order for Season 3. By the way, note that here he is. Here's Darius again coming down to mid lane. Going to put pressure on that mid tower. One thing that I have really liked to pick up in Season 3 on Karthus is to get the home guard boots that allow you to shop and get back to base really fast. Just because Karthus, as I've said, runs out of mana very quickly. When he doesn't have his blue buff, he runs out of mana fast. This is another reason why Tear of the Goddess is a good item on him. So buying early home guard like this, allowing you to go back to base very quickly and then get back to lane, seems to work really well on him, just because he has to back a lot. And I found that that seems to be a pretty good purchase on him. You can get it quite early. Unfortunately, yeah, duel in bottom lane. Anyway, you can get it quite early and then get back to lane. Now right here, I'm going to use my ult on Varus Nox, but guess what? Out comes the Lulu ult, and that's going to prevent the kill from going down. With Kog'Maw passive after he dies, and Karthus ult, that I believe that would have been a kill without that Lulu ult. Okay, we're still trying to hold this tower right here. They have a couple people pushing on this lane. By the way, that was a nice pull by Atamos Core, and we were able to burn the flash. We're able to burn the flash on Orianna, and that actually would be significant going forward here. So keep that in mind, that Orianna has her flash down. They're actually going to come in, and I think they're going to go for a Wraith steal here. Or no, they might be pushing bottom lane. Anyway, there's the home guard boots in action. So there's Karthus running back to base with the little jet trail behind him. I only had enough to buy a blasting wand, so I've gone ahead and grabbed that to be, well, put towards something else. Probably death cap at this point. Anyway, right here, Gobbles gets put too far forward. He gets ulted by Atlas. Really nice job. Then ARLRS dives in, but he is on the tower, and he's going to go down as well. So that worked really nicely. And remember what I said about Orianna's flash being down? That was where it really came into play. So Orianna just got caught a little too far forward. She was taking tower aggression. And then Jarvan followed that up, but he kind of followed that up into a doomed scenario. So 2 for 0, 2 for 0, I pick up a kill, Atlas's Warwick picks up a kill. And what's really nice about this is we're buying time for Wimmy to get a little bit of farm in top lane. He is really far behind, but you know, he's getting at least some farm, and he's pushed us to tower, so he is going to force Darius, Zach's mom, back to the tower. in top lane. So that's one reason why that play was so important for us. It bought us some more time. The longer we can keep this mid tower up, the better. We've already lost the tower in top. We've already lost the tower in bottom. We need to stall this game out. We need to keep this tower up as long as we possibly can, because we have two champions that are really, really good late game. We have Kog'Maw and we have Karthus, both of whom are really strong late games. Now on their team, they do have Vayne, who is also really good late game, but the rest of their team doesn't scale as well into the late game. There's a nice pull from Atamos. I'm not sure it's going to be followed up though. Polymorph comes out. Yeah, not going to be chased down in that particular case. Meanwhile, here comes Darius again. Remember, got the ward coverage. Reminder, kids, always make sure you put down your ward so you can see if you're getting ganked. So again, once again, going to be able to dodge the pressure and buy some time for Wimmy to farm in top. That's what we're trying to do here mid, trying to buy time for him to farm, trying to buy time for Kog'Maw to farm down in bottom lane. The problem is their team has all 5 members of the team here. This is 5 mid by their team. And with only 3 of us here, we can't hold this. So I told the rest of the team, I was like, look, we can't hold this. Just give them the tower. If we try to fight 5v3, we're going to lose. They're going to kill us, and then they're going to take the next tower too. So that was a good time just to back off. Anyway, right here, though, we get the grab on Aelorith. Here comes the Orianna ultimate. I'm going to exhaust Jarvan right there. And I have no mana right here, so I need someone to kill me. And I do get killed by Vayne. That's going to give me enough mana back so I can ult. And down goes Jarvan. So that's going to turn into a 1-for-1 there. That was a situation where I wanted to die so I would get mana back. Meanwhile, while that's going on, Kog was not in the fight, but that's because Kog'Maw is still pushing bottom lane, and he was actually able to get that tower. Now, meanwhile, here, their team is still pushing mid. They're trying to get this second tower. Atlas trying to defend it. The Condemn into the wall by Vayne. Orianna's ult coming out, and that's going to be a kill. In comes Wimmy, but unfortunately, he's a little bit late. He's going to force the red team off the tower, but Gobbles, Varusnox, Zombie Ryan, still a pretty successful push for them. They got a kill, and they got a lot of damage on this mid tower. They got it down to roughly half on that particular push, and now they're going to be able to rotate over to Dragon. Our jungler's dead. Atlas is still reviving, so they're going to get Dragon off of this as well. And in terms of gold, they're in a very comfortable shape, a very comfortable position right now. They are, let's see, where's this going to take them to? Let's see how much gold they get as a result of this. There we go. So they got about a 5.5k gold lead. They've got all the outer towers. They're ahead by 3 kills. They're in a very good position in this game. And right now they're looking to get aggressive, but Karthus has really good clear of the jungle, and that's going to allow me to grab those rates. But my team's position is not particularly great right now. Not too good. Down by about, I said, about 5.5k gold. Top lane is really the biggest issue. I'll go ahead and show you the gold total again in top. Note that I said the team was down about 30, what is that, about 5.5k? Well, about 2.5k that is just in top lane. So half of that gold difference is purely in the top lane. One of the biggest difference. In mid lane, I'm actually ahead, but in bottom lane, Vayne is ahead by about 1,000 gold. And their support is way ahead. Zombie Brian's ahead by 1,500 gold, which is what you'd expect because supports are the most vulnerable to sort of swings in global gold. And they have the definite global gold edge right now. They're up 2 towers and up 2 dragons. So yeah, by the way, Vayne 5-1 with Blade of the Ruined King. Darius 3-0 with the Black Cleaver, and now just going tanky. Looks like he's going for Sunfire Cape. So this is not a great situation, in all honesty. It's a situation where my team needs to just stall the game out. The longer this game goes on, the better for us, because we have Kog and Karthus. Try to stall the game out. Try to get to super late game. If we could get to 45 minutes, 50 minutes, that would be good for us. Right here, though, we actually get a really good fight. We're going to catch out Gobbles and catch out Aelorith. They're by themselves, and they're going to get knocked up in the air. Ball is going to pick that off with Kog'Maw ultimate. I had ult sitting there, waiting to use it, and didn't even need it. So they just got caught too far forward away from the rest of the team. And when you're behind, that's what you really need. I mean, you need to grab kills like that. What was even better is one of the 2 kills went to Kog'Maw, which is exactly what we want. And now we're chasing after Vayne, but I think Vayne's going to be fine in terms of getting out of this. Yeah, going to be okay. Poor Atlas's Sunfire Cape on the minions is giving away the fact that he's there. The minions were dying to his Sunfire. Uh-oh. Atlas, oh no, is he going to get spotted here? Yes, going to get pulled by Zach's mom. Is that Darius ult coming out? Yes, there is the dunk. And Darius 4-0, very, very scary right now. So now we need to try and defend this tower. We are going to get top. Wimmy was able to grab top tower, but we don't want to trade top tower for a second tower here in bottom lane. While this is going on, I can't get down there, so I'm going to push this mid tower. The split pushing Karthus, too strong, right? So I'm going to push that tower. Oh, fortunately for our team, Darius is going to miss that particular pull. Gonna miss that with his apprehend. And, you know, that, on the whole, went pretty well for our team. We lost one kill, or lost one death. Atlas's Warwick was killed, but we got top tower, and we got mid tower, and we're down to about a 3,000 gold lead. So we've cut that deficit roughly in half off of two things. One, two people getting caught on their team right here. And then secondly, getting two towers, one in mid, one in top. So we've equalized in towers, and we've almost caught up in kills. We're still down 2 kills, but getting there. Farm is, you know, their team's still pretty far ahead in farm in top lane and in jungle, but we've got the minion kill edge in mid, and we've got the minion kill edge in bottom lane. And in fact, Cog is basically caught up to Vayne now. I mean, you wouldn't think 2-3-4 Cog, even with 5-1-3 Vayne, but actually just about even in gold. So Blade of the Ruined King, Zeal, and a BF sword coming out on Cog. So he's starting to get pretty scary, and he's getting closer and closer towards that hyper carry role that we're hoping he'll ultimately be able to build towards. Okay, anyway, so right now, let's see. I don't believe that Dragon is don't think that Dragon's going to be up for a little bit yet. All the outer towers are down. That means that attention is increasingly going to shift towards the taking of the big objective, Baron. The team that can take Baron will be in a really good position in order to take this game later on. I'll go ahead and show you what I've been building. I've just been farming, 225 minion kills in 25 minutes. That's pretty good. It's a little harder to get those ridiculous minion kill numbers in Season 3. It was a little bit easier in Season 2. In terms of items, I finished the Rod of Ages first, then I got the Sork Shoes with Home Guard enchantment, so I could run back to lane quickly. And I've also picked up now the Death Cap, which of course is another one of Karthus' core items. This is basically his core build: Rod of Ages, Death Cap, Sork Shoes, with a tier maybe thrown in along with it. Basically his core build. The next item I'm going to get, we're going to try to disengage from this fight. That Wall of Pain, really nice in terms of the utility. The next item I want is, I really want a Zanya's Hourglass. That's because their team is very AD heavy. Darius, Vayne, and Jarvan. The stasis feature on Zanya's is great for Karthus, and with their team being so AD heavy, getting extra armor is a big deal as well. Alright, they have all 4 members of their team invading our jungle. They're sitting here at our red, sitting here in the brush. They actually have this warded up really well. Check out their vision. They've got vision all through our jungle, and they've even got this pinked. Our vision, we have no vision on them whatsoever. So they are doing a very nice job with wards. Kudos to Zombie Brine. He has this area warded up really nicely. And we both have this brush warded, but they decided. Did they take the red buff when it spawned? Is it on Vayne? I don't think so. It may not have been up. So anyway, they are looking to push this tower. Our team is pinging it. We're expecting the tower to them to go to that tower. I'm actually trying to recall here, but apparently I misclicked the B button and I wasted about 5 seconds there. Meanwhile, Varusnox is going to engage with his ultimate. He chunks Ball's Cogmaw down to about half. There's the Orianna ultimate, and then going to finish off that kill. So that's Vayne's 6th kill now. Very nicely played by their team, and they're going to push on this tower. We want to try to get out here and defend this. I'm going to throw down the wall, but you know what? This tower's already almost dead. We don't have Cogmaw. We decide we're better off not fighting for this tower. So we're going to give them that one, and then look to make our stand at this inhibitor tower. Look to make the stand there. So it is a straight 5-on-4. They do have the advantage, but difficult to push into a tower like this. There's the potential of being grabbed by Blitzcrank. There's the potential of getting Warwick ulted, getting knocked up in the air by Wukong. And if any of that crowd control comes out, Karthus will be able to put out a lot of damage. So they are going to look instead to go and take the red. And then I believe Dragon is up. Yep, Dragon is respawned. They're going to come over here and look to do Dragon. And you know what? That's a really smart decision. Not looking to make a sort of a really risky play. They've got the lead. They're ahead by 4,000 gold. There we go. They're ahead by 4,000 gold. They don't need to make risky plays. They can just steal the red, take the dragon, and they'll be in really good shape going forward. They're back out to a 5,000 gold lead. And, you know, Vayne's sitting there on 6 kills. Darius is on 4 kills. Sure, Jarvan might be having a bit of a rough game at 0-5, but the rest of their team is looking very, very strong. So really what they need to do is they just need to stay grouped together. If they can stay grouped, then they have a great chance of being able to control the map objectives like Baron. And doing what they're doing. That's 3 dragons now for them. I think it's 3. It's either 3 or 4. But I think it's 3 dragons they've taken thus far. They just need to stay together, not make mistakes, and continue to keep the pressure on. They were able to get that tower in bottom lane on the last push. The next focus should probably be on either this tower or just starting to put pressure on Baron. They can get an Oracle. They can, you know, look to do that. One of the things that we do have on our side is we do have pretty good wave clear, particularly on Karthus. When I go to these side lanes, I can shove out the side lanes like super duper fast. and that makes it a little bit harder for them to push in the future. I'm also getting closer to that Zanya's Hourglass. I do have the Needlessly Large Rod, and this is when Karthus starts to get kind of scary. Anyway, we're able to pick off Orianna right there, so this is going to lead to a team fight, and I make a mistake here. I put the exhaust on Darius. I meant to put it on Vayne. That's a bad misclick there. So I'm trying to focus Vayne in this fight. They're doing a good job of pushing Vayne away, so I am going to go down, but out the Karthus ult is going to come, and Zombie Brine and Varus Nox are going to go down to the Karthus ultimate, and it turns into a 4-for-4 in that engagement. So 4-for-4, a bloody fight on both sides. A lot of people going down on both sides of the map. So inconclusive team fight there. A little bit disappointing for our team. We would have liked to have gotten a better result from that because we caught Orianna, we caught Gobbles at the start of that fight, and we were only able to go 4-for-4. That was a fight where we had a good chance to just clean their team up and establish sort of a really tight lead in this match. That would have been a great time to do that, but didn't happen. Paul's saying he forgot to use his Blade of the Ruined King as well. Similar idea. So we weren't quite able to get a big win off that, but we held even. It's still about a 4,000 gold lead, right where it was before. And I've now managed to finish Zanya's Hourglass, so that's a pretty big purchase on on Karthus. Ability power, the armor, and the untargetable stasis feature is really nice. You run into the middle of your team. The Defile aura keeps ticking. While you're in stasis, you keep dealing damage with your Defile. And basically, when they look to focus you, you just make yourself invulnerable, and you you know, make use of that stasis feature, as I said. So really nice. Need to do a better job of using exhaust. Need to use exhaust on Vayne, the 7-2 Vayne, not the Darius player. I mean, it's not terrible on Darius, but it's clearly better spent being used on Vayne. Anyway, Vayne is in bottom lane. Varus Nox is down here having to clear out this wave. So we were saying, you know what? We might be able to force something over here at Baron because Vayne's not with them. And if they make a mistake and fight this, we can do something. So Zombie Brine tries to come around to the backside, but I'm going to cut him off. And then we're going to force the team fight right there. Zombie Brine's going to get pulled. He is going to go down. A great Wukong ult is going to knock him up. Nobody on Kog'Maw. Ball is just DPSing in the back. I'm going to use the Zanyas, and we're just going to clean them up with no Vayne there. So that was the mistake that they had to avoid as a team. They could not afford a fight like that, fighting when Vayne was not there. Poor Varus Nox just clearing bottom lane. They just had to avoid getting engaged on, and unfortunately for their team, that's exactly what happened. Leads to them just getting cleaned up in the fight, 4-for-0 and Baron, and all of a sudden, it's an entirely new game. Our team is now nearly even to global gold. We are down by, what, about 800 gold right now? And most of their team's still dead, so we have time enough to push this lane, time enough to push for this tower, and if we can get this, we'll actually be dead even in this match. Actually, I think we'll even be a little bit ahead. There we go, yes, ahead by 100 gold. So our team has completely flipped the match around. We've gone from being really far behind to being now completely caught up, and in fact, as long as we have this Baron buff, we're actually ahead of their team. So we all need to go back and spend our gold. Everybody's, we're all sitting on quite a bit of gold here. Go back, spend that gold, and buy more items, then look to push. By the way, this is Karthus' wave clear. Note how the minion wave just dies in seconds. That's why he's really good at shoving out lanes. That's one reason why we have been able to avoid getting pushed back into our base. I've been clearing the side lanes pretty frequently and doing my best to keep us from getting shoved in. So anyway, other items. Now here's another item that's a little bit different for Season 3. I've gone ahead and grabbed Hunting Guys. Part of this was due to the amount of gold I had. I had about 1,700 gold. That wasn't enough to get a Void Staff, but it was enough to pick up Hunting Guys. So I picked this up because it's a useful item on Karthus. When you turn it into Liandry's, which is an expensive item, of course, Liandry's deals quite a bit of damage. I saw some threads on the math of that item, and it turns out that it deals damage very comparable to Void Staff. And if you count the damage over time, it actually deals quite a bit more damage than Void Staff, while also giving you, of course, the extra magic penetration. Where is that? So here we go, 38 flat and 8% magic pen from the Masteries. So it's a pretty good item to get on somebody like Karthus. I mean, the health is useful, the magic pen is useful. So that's one reason why I went for that particular item. Now, if their team had a lot of magic damage, if you look at their team, mostly physical, Darius, Vayne, Jarvan, so on. I said Orianna's the only one really doing magic damage, so if they had more magic damage, I would have leaned towards Abyssal Scepter, but I don't really need much magic resist in this game. Don't really need it. Anyway, here we're going to try to force a fight. It's a good flash from Zombie Brine. We thought he would go to the right. He went to the left. and that's actually going to get him out of this particular sticky situation. He had to use Flash. He used the Lulu W, the Whimsy, to speed himself up, but they were able to disengage from that pretty well. We're able to get out of that pretty well from what could have been a really disastrous fight. Anyway, though, we do still have Baron. Our team is still looking to push. We have about 80 seconds of Baron left right now, and we'd love to get this tower and this inhib if we could. So we're going to look to try and push here. All we need is one of these grabs to land, and we'll be in great shape, or I can just zone them with the wall. We have Baron for health regen and sustain, health regen, mana regen. This is a great time for us to push. We don't necessarily want to dive here, but all we really need to do is get one grab. That's a nice Oracle by Automos, by the way, clears out their ward. So we really just need to wait for a grab or to let Kog'Maw poke at the tower, something like that. But instead, we're actually going to make a mistake. Atlas is going to get engaged upon. He gets knocked up in the air. Now the team fight comes out. I'm going to use the Zanyas. Down goes their team. We're going to get Darius. We're going to get Lulu as well. Now Vayne is in the back line. I'm going to use the Karthus ult. And is this going to pick off Vayne? Yes, it will. So we are not going to kill all of them. By the way, triple kill. Yeah, Karthus. Late game Karthus. Late game Karthus carries pretty darn hard, as I said during the broadcast when I was doing this live. Anyway, that's very unfortunate right there. Gobbles a little bit of the outplaying and able to take out balls, so we weren't able to get the inhib there. And now the chase is on. Gobbles wants blood, but Automos is going to turn around. The hook, the knockup, and the silence. Wow, GGG. The plays, man, the plays. And that actually is an ace, but not enough time to go back and get that inhibitor. Maybe he did. No, Jarvan's already up. Not enough time. So, an inconclusive push. An inconclusive push. But we were able to get the mid tower. Still, that wasn't the worst result for our team. That fight, Atlas kind of got caught out of position. He actually got blown up before the fight really started. He never used his ult in that fight. So if we were able to still kind of win the fight, still able to get that mid tower, not the worst result for us. Granted, we did lose our Baron, so it could have gone better, but 5 for 4 and getting that middle tower, you know, we'll take that. We'll take that in the end. Anyway, I have now managed to upgrade to Liandry's. I've got the Amplifying Tome towards a future Void Staff. Liandry's, I'll go ahead and highlight it. 50 AP, 300 health, Magic Pen, and then the burn over time. Dealing spells applies damage over time effect. Deals damage equal to 2% of the target's current health per second. So again, that burn effect is where a lot of the damage comes from. And I believe that Karthus applies that to everybody when he has that. Hold on, let me look at this. Let's see, what is it? Let's see, doubled against movement impaired monsters. Oh yeah, so this works reasonably well with the Karthus wall. If you slow them with the Karthus wall, then it applies that slow, and you get the extra damage on Liandry's. I think that's the way it works. I could be wrong. Anyway, 670 ability power means I'm doing a lot of damage as Karthus. Look at that. Oh, deals about 1,000 damage to everybody. Anyway, so we know Dragon's up. Their team can't really challenge for it. We're strong in all the pulls, the plays by Automos Core. Down goes Aelarath. I'm going to run in the middle of the team and pop Zanyas so they can't target me, even if they really want to. Now the focus is on Darius, and we are going to pick him off there. Atlas is going to get that kill. Only 2 members left, just Gobbles and just Zombie Brine on their team. So we're going to look to push. We make a mistake here, though, and I said we should just look to end the game. I thought that we had enough time on the death timers to finish this, but mistake, mistake, mistake. Should have grabbed the minions first. We could have grabbed the minions so easily and just had the minions then to tank for us. It would have been really easy to do this. Or alternately, we could do the safer route and take the side inhibs. Instead, though, we're going to go for these towers, and I do think that with 5 here, we probably could have ended this if we played it correctly. Unfortunately, we're taking a little too much damage here. That pull's not going to hit anyone. And right here, we're going to make a mistake. Wimmy's going to go down to that Orianna damage. And then Atlas is tanking tower, and he's going to get very low. And now their team's starting to revive. And at this point, we realize, oh, we have to retreat. And yeah, that probably could have gone better. Out comes the Darius ult. Not Darius ult, the Jarvan ult. Ball's going to go down. And now we are running for our lives. We need to get out of here. Oh no, Baron is about to respawn any second now. Should have been paying closer attention to those timers. I'm going to get knocked up in the air. But I am, in fact, going to be able to disengage for that. By the way, look at that burn effect on Liandry's. It's burning away. at ALRS health right there. So they're not going to chase this down, but the problem for us is Baron is respawning. By the way, Orianna misused her ult. So Baron has just respawned, and this is really the worst possible time for us. So not the best way to play that. We probably should have been less greedy. Maybe take this tower, take the inhib back, and then be standing at Baron right when it respawns. That would be the better way to play this. So got a little too greedy. Yes, we got one of the 2 Nexus turrets. Yes, the super minions will get a lot of push on this, but their team is in great position to take this Baron. It's going down very quickly. We're trying to get here, trying to get to the Baron. Who is going to get this? No, red team is going to get it. Out comes the wall for zoning, but we do not have Kog'Maw here. Kog is still dead from that last fight, so we cannot fight this. Or, well, we could, but it wouldn't be a good idea. So we're going to disengage, and they are going to get Baron off that. Minions will take down a tower in bottom lane, but that really was a misplay. That was not how to play that situation when ahead, and that was 100% my fault. It was a bad call to go for that tower without minions. If we had grabbed the minions first, I think we probably could have ended there. But it would have been even safer just to take the inhib. Would have been safer to take the inhib, maybe grab a side tower, and then look to just take Baron. That would have been by far the safest way to play that. So anyway, team is still in pretty good shape. We're ahead 2.5k gold. We have a really fed Karthus and Kog'Maw. Look at Cog's items, by the way. Last Whisper, Phantom Dancer, Blade of the Ruin King, Infinity Edge. You do not want to be messing with this Kog'Maw. And he's grabbing their red buff too, by the way. So we're going to get that tower, and now their team's coming out to fight. Vayne is a little behind this fight, though. So I was like, fight, fight, fight. We can win this fight. We can get these guys. It's a good Orianna ult, though, right there. And then I'm going to get knocked up in the air. I have to use Zhonya's earlier than I'd like. I'm finally going to get the exhaust onto Varus Nox's Vayne in this particular fight. But we've now killed their front line. Out comes the Kog'Maw ult. And that is going to do quite a bit of damage. We made out the Lulu ult. Atlas is chasing, but Atlas, man, you can't chase when you're on 5% health. He's just going to die to Vayne. And what we're left with is a 3-on-3. But watch this. Balls! The plays! Oh, the flash and then the crit on his auto attack. Taking down Orianna. Poor Gobbles goes down. Now it's a 3-on-2. And our team should be able to, at the very least, get this top inhib. And probably get the bottom inhib as well. We should be able to get that. And hopefully from that point on, it'll just be a pretty academic exercise to win from that point. They also do only have one inhib tower here. And there's a lot of minions coming in. But oh, the grab! The plays, the goo, the slow. And Wimmy is going to finish that off. And that is going to be GG. Without Vayne to protect it, the support alone is not going to be enough. Support alone is not going to be enough to protect this base. So that's going to be it. Really, really nice Blitzcrank play there at the end. Picks off the kill. And that's going to turn it into a victory for our team. 29-24 at the 41-minute mark. So I thought this was a really entertaining game. It was my chance to play around with some different Karthus stuff. Last item I grabbed was Void Staff. I have 700 AP, well, just shy of it. I would buy a blue. When I revived, I would have bought a blue pot if the game had gone on longer. And yeah, my ult was dealing a lot of damage. But a really fun game, a good example, I think, of how you have to try to carry with Karthus. We had 2 hyper carries late game, Karthus and Kog'Maw, and we really just rode them to victory. The 2 of us did, well, we had by far the most gold, 17k and just short of 16k. On the other team, I thought that Darius had a very strong game. Orianna played very well, and Varus Nox had the was right there with the most gold. Was what I think like 9 and 2 at one point or something ridiculous like that. Was really, really strong. The biggest thing that swung the game was just they had a really, really bad fight next to Baron. The 4-0 and then Baron was enough for us to take this game, and we just were able to snowball it off that game. So that was just an example of you make one mistake next to Baron, and it can completely swing a game around. Anyway, though, I hope people enjoyed the chance to see some Karthus gameplay. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Hope you guys enjoyed this, and I hope you all have a great weekend. Until next time, take care. See you soon.